all wines are created equal, especially when it comes to what you're eating when you're drinking them. Here to show us the basics when it comes to pairings is our resident wine guru, Hayley Hamilton. Hayley, it smells good, but I know you're going to show me a whole bunch of good stuff today, right?
Absolutely. And first of all, the main thing, drink what you like, eat what you like. Don't worry about it.
I like that.
And that's always, but if you do want to kind of get a little bit deeper into the pairings, I did this session. I was recently out in Napa with Behringer, and they've, their head of education, a guy named Jerry Comfort, created this whole kind of idea behind how to really be specific. And a lot of it just has to do not only with the actual flavors of the food, but also how you're seasoning them. And it's really why it's so important to season your food. And why
the concept being that there are certain wines that make your food taste better.
And the wine, it's almost like you're pairing your food with your wine instead of the other way around.
I like
that.
Because
if you want the wine to taste as much like the winemaker intended it to make, and it goes really well with the food. And so the first one is kind of if you're into spicy food, Thai food, Asian food, even some, pepper jack cheese, that sort of thing. Anything with sriracha. If you have something that's maybe a little bit off dry, something that's a little bit more fruity, so like a Gewürztraminer, a Moscato, a Riesling, then those are going to pair really nicely with it. Even like an off-dry,
so something
bubbly.
Sweet.
A little bit sweeter. We say kind of fruity in the wine world instead of sweet, but something that's not as...
See, I learned something new today.
That has a little bit, maybe it's a lower alcohol, and that's how you can always tell if it's going to maybe have a little bit more residual sugar in it.
Perfect. So pair that up with the spicy
with the spicy food. Also a Torontes from Argentina that has really good, kind of a good floral notes. Go nicely with that spicy Mexican cuisine, any kind of Asian food, Thai food, that sort of thing. Next one is if you, I was in Greece not too long ago, and I loved that everywhere we went we had these like beet greens and bitter greens, always with a lot of lemon, and it's because their wines are so high in acidity. Italian whites also, I've got a Vermentino here, their wines are so high in acidity that when you have an acidic or kind of a bitter food with it, it's going to balance them out, and so it's going to just kind of soften it. But also with all of these things, if you add a little bit of salt or a little bit of acid, which is vinegar, lemon, any of those things, that's what kind of brings your food into perfect check. It's why when you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh my God, why was that so good? It's because every chef knows how to use, and they know how to use a lot of salt. And
speaking of salt, I see some over here, and I know we were going to do a little taste test here, right?
A little taste test.
So you said, drink my wine.
So this is a Pinot Noir from Behringer from Napa Valley. So it's a nice, very kind of fruity, and then try
not
it with,
sweet,
not sweet at all, exactly, very dry. And then I just did a very simply poached salmon, and it doesn't have any seasoning or anything on it.
Okay.
And now try the wine. Like, it doesn't really tell me how the wine might change a little bit, or does it? Is it even very interesting now?
Oh no, but it's all very good.
Okay. Okay, but then try it with a little bit. So I just have a really simple dill sauce on here.
So all you did was put some sauce on it.
Sauce on it, a little lemon, and a little bit of salt.
Okay.
And what the idea is that when you actually bring all of those flavors into balance with a little bit of salt, with a little bit of acid, with the natural flavors of the protein, and then try it with the wine, then that's going to kind of help fully enhance how the whole flavor profile would react. And it also
definitely better.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's so good.
And I think it can also, that can handle something like a nice Chardonnay, like a good California Chardonnay that's nice and round and rich, because
that's good.
The acid will cut through some of the richness, also with a nice kind of light-bodied wine, even a big tannic wine. I brought a Barolo also. Once you add all those things kind of into balance, then your food's going to taste the way it should, and the wines will really, really pop a little bit.
Now you're going to have me craving this salmon with this wine tonight.
Absolutely.
Because that was delicious. I love it.
Wonderful.
All right, well, very good. We've got links to these pictures on our website so you can check them out in more detail. Just go to thebroadcasttv.com and click on today's links. Susie Says So is coming up, along with some fashion ideas for pumping up the volume. Stick around.